Hello, this is Zoe from No Safer Place, and it is week 5 of the Zoella Book Club. This week, you chose me to review A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Now, this book was completely different to what I was expecting. When I read the blurb, it kind of sounded like a kind of shadow huntery, this savage songy, demon hunting, monster hunting kind of thing. So I was really excited, thinking it was something like that, but it was completely different. Obviously, the only thing I'd ever read was the back, which was something like, this monster is something different and it wants the most dangerous thing of all from Connor. It wants the truth. So I was expecting something completely different to what I was given, but I was so pleasantly surprised because it was absolutely amazing. I've never read a Patrick Ness book before, but I saw him when he was at Yalk and I had no idea who he was, but his queue was insanely popular, so he's been on my to be read list for a long time, but I haven't got round to reading one, so this is the first book of his that I've read. And I've got to say, it is probably my favourite standalone book ever. It was absolutely amazing. It touched me so deeply, and after I finished, I told the story to my husband, and I couldn't get the words out without crying because it was just so good. The story focuses on a young boy called Connor O'Malley who lives a very normal life, except for the fact that his mum has cancer. Connor's mum tries to protect him from the cancer. She doesn't say the word and she sugarcoats him so as to how well she's doing because she thinks it's going to help Connor cope and deal with things better. But obviously it doesn't because he feels like his mum's fine and she's obviously not. Connor is essentially his mum's carer. And as the reader, you almost believe that his mum's getting better too because Connor is so positive and fine about it. And then Connor meets the yew tree. One night, Connor gets awoken from another of his recurring nightmares that he has by sound outside the window. The monster has called for him. The yew tree tells Connor that he must listen to 3 stories that the tree has lived through, and then Connor must tell him one of his own, the one in his nightmare. The one that reveals the truth that we don't get to know right till the very end of the story. As the tree's telling the stories, a few days go by and Connor's mum really starts to deteriorate. His grandma comes over more often, his dad has flown away from his new family in America and has come to see him, and you kind of get the feeling of impending doom, that something's bad is going to happen, and you're thinking, could there be a way back through this? Will his mum be okay? And who has the tree really come to save? The relationship between the yew tree and Connor is just beautiful. It's just stunning. And the tree is probably my favourite character. It is so funny. I think the message you take away from the book when you finished, it's just so heartbreakingly beautiful. And the way everything's worded and written is just stunning. It really is. It's being made as a film, which is coming out in January next year, which I cannot wait to see now. I read it in about an hour and a half. I just couldn't put it down because it was just simply incredible. It was a 5 out of 5 from me and up there with Frozen Charlotte as my favourite book from both of the Zoella Book Club so far. Now, as always, I'll be reading my quotes from the book. The first one, I found it hard to do the quotes because there's not many that are meaningful that don't give away the plot of the book, so it's quite difficult. The first one is on page 187. No one spoke to him for the rest of the day. There are worse things than being invisible, the monster had said. And it was right. Connor was no longer invisible. They all saw him now, but he was further away than ever. I love that quote. I really thought it was beautiful. And the next one is on page 225, and it's what the tree says. You do not write your life with words, the monster said. You write it with actions. What you think is not important. It is only important what you do. There was a long silence as Connor recaught his breath. So what do I do? He finally asked. This book is amazing, and I think you should read it before the film comes out because I think the film is just going to be amazing as well. I can't wait to see it. I hope you enjoyed this review. I think next week it will be If I Was Your Girl because I've had quite a lot of requests for that since I've filmed this video. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, give me a comment, and let me all know what you thought of this video. Thank you for watching. See you again next week. Bye!